What's up, guys? Quadron here. Going to be bringing you some Malfurion Druid games. This is a deck that I've put together myself, kind of handpicked it, and I have kind of fallen in love with it. It's really fun. It's got lots and lots of silence and disable. Well, not to disable, but silence, nuke, taunts, and strong late game minions. Strong-ish. Like, it's kind of like mid to early game, but a lot of sustain with very few cards is kind of like the idea of it. And a lot of 4 damage minions, so it goes really well against the priest decks because the Shadow Word, Pain, and Death don't do anything. And I just won this last game by making this mage. This mage put down a Nat Pagel first turn. And, oops, sorry. And basically what I did was I let the Nat Pagel stay up the entire game, and she started fatiguing when I had like 12 cards left. And I just outlasted her, and it was the most hilarious and amazing. I wish I had been recording it. It was fantastic. Seriously, it was the most fun game I think I've had. And so I was like, I should start recording every game just in case something awesome happens. I could put down an acidic swamp ooze, but I am going to wait because... Wait. Yeah, probably gonna wait. Because some hunters equip a bow. And I want to wait and have that just in case. So I've got a Harvest Golem for turn 3. There seems to be a lot more hunters than normal equipping weapons. Okay. Alright, so turn 3. Gonna drop this. For turn 4, I'll have either a silence or a nuke. Or I can potentially swipe or drop a swamp ooze and armor up. I think that's a weapon. He's pointing that at himself. Pretty sure that was a weapon. Ooh, that's too bad. Okay, well I can still trade really efficiently with that by
I must safeguard
2 damage, right click. There we go, dealt with it in 1 turn, maintain board control, and still haven't busted this guy's death rattle. It's really good. He has a card advantage though, because he hasn't played anything. Starving Buzzard. Okay. So I've got a swipe here, and I think it's time to use the swipe. Because that's going to kill the beast as well as the buzzard. He clears the board and allows me to continue my momentum. Now you got to be careful when facing hunters for Unleash the Hound, so you generally don't want to have more than 3 dudes out at once. That's what I would say anyway, just a general rule. Gonna kill command that, which is actually really good for me, because I have much bigger minions that I don't want him to actually use the kill command on. So I've got some decent options here. I can silence this, but I would rather silence something else, so I'm going to save that. I'm going to drop a Hogger. And this is a little bit risky in that if he just lets these taunts build up and then doesn't Unleash the Hounds like 3 turns from now, it could be pretty ugly, but then again I would have lots of taunts to absorb his hounds, so I don't know. I'm not too worried about that. See how he responds to this. I'm gonna keep punching him in the face until he clears it, though. That's kind of the idea of this. That you just keep having minions punch them in the face over and over again, and you use your taunts and your clears to do lots of damage. Okay, well he's gonna be able to clear a lot of my stuff out here, including my Hogger, which is a bummer. Oh, he's not going to go for Hogger? Oh, thank you so much. This is such a huge mistake on his part, because now I'm going to swipe, completely clear his board, and I'll have Hogger up still. So, swipe, going to clear everything. That is a huge mistake on his part, like, insanely huge mistake.
For the wild.
It's probably costing him GG, honestly. I can show you the deck list after this game, by the way. Kind of explain the idea behind it. So he's put that out. I think he just put that out because he had nothing else to put out, honestly. This is for sure probably do this is probably the secret that does 2 damage to all the minions. So I think I'm going to, what am I going to do here? Obviously I don't want to place any minions out for now until after I pop the secret, if I pop the secret anyway. So I am going to, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to attack this into here, because otherwise it's just going to die anyway to the secret. Yep, so it's 2 damage to all minions. Okay, so now that's going to trigger that. Now I can drop another taunt, or I can drop my Argent Commander to clear this beast off. I feel like clearing the board right now would be the better choice. Let's go ahead. Oh, well. Alright, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna punch him in the face. And the reason I decided to go against the Argent Commander is because I don't want him to use another Unleash the Hounds when I don't have a second taunt up, because that'll do a lot of damage and he'll be able to kill Hogger as well, so that would not be good. Your goal with Hogger is just to keep him around for as long as possible. So, and now this Savannah High Main is a great card, but I can just Spellbreaker it and silence it. But either way, it's GG this next round unless you can clear my board. Because I've got the Argent Commander, which can pump him for 4 plus all this extra damage. So it kind of doesn't matter. Oh yeah, he is getting charged right now. What he needs to be doing is clearing out probably Hogger, honestly. Hogger's the big one. And he's not going to go for it, so... Okay, he is going to go for it, but it's still GG because I've got the damage necessary in 2 different ways. I could use my charge on my Druid of the Claw or on my Argent Commander. Alright, there you go. I'm moving up in ranks, up to the raid leader status. Sweet, now I'll go ahead and show you my deck here. And this has been working for me really well. I'm probably winning about 70% of my games, probably. Moved up quite a bit today. But, so you've got 2 wraiths. This is a removal and a card draw, or a larger removal with 3 damage, and it's low mana. Acidic Swamp Ooze is for all the weapons. Then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 silences in this deck, so there's a lot of minions right now that are getting buffed through Divine Shields, through health buffs, through taunts, whatever. And you can use these silences, really cheap silences, to deal with that crap right away. So really, really great removal, or like, you know, buff removal. Also, it's good for the Frost Mages too. When they freeze your big minions, you can just silence the frost off of them and keep attacking. Now, Knife Jugglers combo really well with Hogger and with the Sonaris, because when Hogger summons a nutrient or whatever, or a new, whatever it's called, a null, 2/2 null, you'll get another hit with the Knife Juggler. So if you have both Knife Jugglers out, for every one of those you get 2 hits. And if you have both Knife Jugglers out, you get 6 hits with the Sonaris, which is just fantastic. And then, so moving down the list, you've got the Loot Hoarder. You got one of those that's just an early game minion to keep, kind of help keep your momentum going with a card draw and an early game removal. You've got one Healing Touch. This is basically to help counter those rushes, and in particular, mages. I was losing to some mages with my... basically, they would kind of rush you down below 20 HP, then they would double Pyroblast you in late game. And it was insanely annoying. So I was like, well, I need to keep in the safe zone for my health. So that's why I got Healing Touch. And it could be argued that it's better to get a minion here, just because it'll help keep your board control, which will help keep your HP up anyway. But I've already got so many cards for board control between the taunts and the removals and the silences that sometimes I would just get below 20 HP anyway, just because he had a better card draw initially at the beginning of the game. And this Healing Touch will help even out like bad starting cards, get your HP above to a safe level, and continue into the late game. Savage Roar is a insanely good buff spell, and it combos really, really well with Force of Nature. And with a lot of the taunts that you have, because oftentimes you'll have board control and you just need that extra bit of damage to finish him off in one turn, or to trade more efficiently against his minions. So Savage Roar, don't be afraid to use it, I think, to just get an advantage on the board, or to come back, because basically the rest of your minions will help you, after you've regained board control, maintain board control and finish the fight. This doesn't always have to be a finishing move. This can be like kind of a mid-game move to get an advantage as well if you've got 2 to 3 minions out. Now, Harvest Golems just trade insanely well, and they oftentimes will pull out a silence. When you want, like for example, you oftentimes want to bait your silences out from the other player, silences and disables and stuff like that. And Harvest Golems do a good job baiting the silences out. Now, the Shield Masters are really great for getting rid of those early polymorphs, or those Shadow Word Deaths. This is the only card that I think is really weak against a Priest, because he can just Shadow Word Death your Shield Masters. And then you've got your Spellbreakers. This is just a really strong silence with a really powerful or a good follow-up card that's really efficient. And then you got Starfall. This is just your either large minion removal or 2 damage to all minions. And then obviously you got 2 swipes. I didn't mention that, but 2 swipes are just insanely good at board clear. Druid of the Claw, just a great taunt or charge depending on what you need. And then Force of Nature, this is 3 2/2 treants with charge that die at the end of the turn. This will basically clear the board, oftentimes in one turn, so it'll give you that advantage. If they, you've got minions, they've got minions. You drop this, you clear the minions, and now you still have your minions, and he doesn't have his. It also combos really well with Savage Roar. So for 9 mana, you can do 14 damage, I believe. It's a 14 damage combo, and it's brand new. So you could have nothing on the board. And as long as he doesn't have taunts up, if he has 14 damage left on his hero, you can instantly kill him in one turn. So it's kind of like a Pyroblast, as long as he doesn't have taunts, but it's a 14 damage combo. Now, your Starfire is just another large minion removal for the mid to late game, and it gives you a card draw, so it's really good to keep you moving through your deck. Argent Commander, Charge, Divine Shield, this is basically like a free card exchange. Oftentimes, if they have 4 HP on some minion, you can drop this in, or sometimes you can just drop this in with like a Wraith and get a card draw plus a good trade. Hogger, you want to use this when he doesn't have anything on the board, because you want Hogger to live through at least one turn, if possible, to keep spawning 2/2 nulls. And this is like a really strong snowball-y type card that if you can't deal with Hogger right away, it's usually GG, because you just get so much value from it. And then the Sunwalker is just a really high value taunt, and again, it's really great against a lot of priests and a lot of other mid-game cards, because it'll take 2 or 3 cards to trade with it, or a one really powerful removal card that he will basically drop, like a Dark Knight, a Death Knight. Let me see here. The Black Knight, or like one of his minion destructive minions stuff. But ideally you want to have baited out his major removal cards with the Shield Masters and the Druid of the Claws before you drop your Sunwalkers. So you generally want to play these taunts last because they trade so efficiently if he doesn't have good removal for them. And then Sonaris is kind of one of those momentum shifters that, you know, if he's got minions on the board already, you can drop this, and he is either forced to use his major removal spells or trade inefficiently for the Sonaris. So, yeah. So that's this in particular deck, and I've been doing really well with it in the current metagame. Especially, I think the biggest difference between this deck and most other Druid decks is that this has 5 silences, which is fairly rare, and it works really, really well against the majority of buffing decks out there, and works great to basically help keep you alive into the late game, and then you just kind of power through the mid game into the late game and win. Is the way that it typically works. I mean, either if you get a really good starting hand, you just get the advantage and consistently push him into the ground using your removals and taunts. And if he gets an early game advantage, you can oftentimes flip it around and win in the late game with the good removals and taunts. So, and silences, that's the thing too. Silences are so important in this current metagame. So anyway, guys, that is my deck and my explanation of how to use it, and it seems to be working quite well. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know, give me some feedback, and I will continue moving up the ladder and see how far I can go. So anyway, guys, that's it. Thanks.